Ever feel like life on Earth is like one giant cosmic pop quiz that you didn't study for?
Yeah.
Well, today's deep dive
Okay.
explores the idea that maybe we did sign up for this crazy ride,
Okay.
but for like a way bigger purpose than we realize.
Yeah, what's so interesting about this is this whole idea of Earth School. It's like reframing our challenges, not as these random events, but as like carefully chosen lessons for our soul's like evolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, so we're diving into this lecture on spiritual development.
Okay.
And it brings up some pretty mind-bending concepts.
Yeah.
The first thing it tackles is the nature of God, or like source, as it calls it.
Okay.
And it doesn't shy away from how absolutely massive it is.
Right. It kind of paints this picture of God as an energy that is so immense and so beyond anything that we can even comprehend.
Right.
That it's like if you're trying to explain what the internet is to an ant.
Oh, wow.
We just can't grasp the totality of it from our very limited human perspective.
Right.
Yeah. But it does say that this source is like pure love.
Yes.
And that it's like the glue that's holding everything together.
Yes.
It's like the driving force behind everything that was created.
Yeah, and what's so amazing is that you find this idea echoed in accounts of people who claim to have experienced the source directly through past life regression. They consistently describe being enveloped by this incredible, brilliant light.
Wow.
And just this overwhelming feeling of love that makes returning to Earth, well, not really a top vacation destination.
Right, yeah. So why would anyone choose Earth School at all?
Right.
I mean, if the source is pure bliss, why would any soul willingly go through all the trials and the crazy stuff that we deal with down here?
Well, the lecture makes it pretty clear that Earth School is not for the faint of heart.
Okay.
It's like the cosmic equivalent of like an advanced placement course.
Gotcha.
And it attracts these souls that are like, bring it on. I'm ready for the accelerated growth, even though it comes with a hefty side of struggle.
Right. So maybe it really makes you rethink what the point of our experiences really is.
Yes.
Maybe all of those setbacks and things that seem to happen over and over again aren't just bad luck. Could they be part of the curriculum in Earth School? Nudging us towards some lesson that we need to learn?
Yeah, absolutely. That's where that concept of karma gets really, really interesting.
Okay.
The lecture explains it as this sort of cosmic feedback loop.
Okay.
Where every action that you take kind of generates a consequence.
Okay.
And then those consequences, in turn, shape all of your future experiences.
So we're not just passive students.
Exactly.
In Earth School, right?
Yeah.
We're actually creating our syllabus by the choices we make.
Precisely. It's not even really about punishment or reward. It's more about understanding that we are both the student and the teacher in this grand experiment of existence.
I like that.
Yeah.
So if karma is like a cycle, how do we break free from these patterns that just keep us stuck?
The lecture says that Jesus actually came to Earth to teach us exactly that.
Yes. And it ties back so beautifully to that idea of the source being this pure love.
Okay.
The lecture suggests that love is really the key to kind of transcending those limitations of karma and reaching this higher state of consciousness.
Okay.
It's about breaking that cycle of action and reaction and instead replacing it with compassion and understanding.
If you're finding this deep dive as fascinating as we are, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with your friends. We're about to jump into a theory that takes this whole Earth School concept to a whole new level. The idea of 3 waves of volunteers. Stay tuned. Karma. And now we're going to explore a concept that expands on this cosmic curriculum.
Okay.
3 waves of volunteers.
Okay, so what's really interesting here is this idea that some souls actually chose to incarnate on Earth during this super important time of planetary transformation.
Oh, wow.
It's like signing up for extra credit.
Right.
Except the stakes are a little bit higher.
Yeah, a lot higher.
Yeah.
So the lecture kind of paints this picture of Earth as a really challenging environment.
Yes.
To put it lightly.
It does.
It even quotes someone describing life here as being trapped in a pressure cooker.
Oh, yeah.
Of dense energy.
Yeah.
Not exactly a relaxing vacation.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But that's exactly why these souls decided to come here.
Really?
According to the lecture. They saw Earth as this one-of-a-kind training ground for accelerated growth.
Okay.
A place where they could really push their limits and contribute to something way bigger than themselves.
So these volunteers aren't just here for their own personal evolution.
Right.
They're actually helping to shape the future of all of humanity
Yes.
and the planet.
Yeah, and the lecture breaks these volunteers down into 3 distinct waves,
Okay.
each with their own unique characteristics and purpose.
Okay, let's dive into those waves. The first wave, the lecture says, is made up of people born after World War II.
Right.
They're often described as feeling totally out of sync with, like, mainstream society.
Yeah.
Almost like they're from another planet.
Right. The lecture shares a bunch of stories about children in this wave.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who would talk about longing to go home,
Interesting.
but they couldn't actually say where home was.
Right.
It's like they instinctively knew that Earth wasn't their true origin.
I've heard those stories too. You know, kids talking about a place that they remember
Right.
filled with light and love.
Mm-hmm.
That makes Earth seem
Yeah.
kind of rough.
A little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. And the lecture suggests that this sensitivity that they have to violence and suffering and strong emotions,
Okay.
it all comes from their souls originating in realms where those things just didn't exist.
Imagine being thrown into Earth school
Right.
with no idea about exams
Right.
or pop quizzes
Yeah.
or even homework.
You'd be pretty lost and overwhelmed. Yeah. And the lecture really highlights how a lot of people in this first wave
Okay.
struggled to fit in with what society expected of them.
Yeah.
They often rejected traditional paths,
Right.
like getting married or jobs that just felt soul crushing.
Yeah.
They would go for these alternative lifestyles that just felt more true to themselves.
It's like they were trying to avoid anything that would get them stuck in Earth's karmic cycles.
Exactly.
Their souls were longing for something totally different.
Exactly. Their presence was like a catalyst.
Okay.
It challenged the way things were and paved the way for the second wave.
Okay, so if the first wave was about shaking things up,
Right.
what was the second wave here to do?
Well, the lecture describes the second wave as antennas and generators of energy.
Oh, wow.
It says they have this natural ability to channel and amplify higher frequencies of consciousness.
So they're like walking, talking energy transformers.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
And here's the really cool part. They might not even know they're doing it. It's just a natural part of who they are on a soul level.
But if their mission is to raise the planet's vibration, wouldn't it be better if they were out there leading the charge?
The lecture talks about that.
Okay.
And it points out that a lot of second wavers are drawn to solitude.
Okay.
They find peace in nature or doing creative things
Right.
that helps them connect with these higher frequencies.
Maybe they need that alone time to recharge
Yeah,
so they don't get overwhelmed by how dense Earth's energy is.
that's a really interesting thought.
Yeah.
And it fits with this idea that their energy is incredibly powerful.
Okay.
They need those quiet times to integrate it and not get overloaded.
So it's almost like they're these conduits.
Yes.
Quietly channeling these higher frequencies into the collective unconscious.
Yep.
Getting everything ready for the third wave.
Yes.
The children being born now.
Yeah. And the lecture says these third wave children are arriving with a huge advantage. They're described as being naturally in tune with the higher frequencies of what it calls the new Earth.
So it's like they skipped the intro courses and went straight to the advanced seminars.
Exactly.
Like they already have the knowledge and skills to handle this shift in consciousness.
The lecture even says that their DNA is different.
Wow.
More in line with the frequencies of this new Earth, making them natural ambassadors for a more evolved way of being.
This is mind-blowing stuff. If you're enjoying these concepts as much as we are, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with your friends who might like this perspective.
We've just scratched the surface here. In the last part of our deep dive, we're going to explore what these 3 waves mean for the future of humanity and really dig into what this new Earth might actually look like. Stick around.
All right, so welcome back to the last part of our deep dive into Earth School and this whole idea of 3 waves of volunteers.
Okay.
We talked about that first wave, the people born after World War II who just never really felt like they fit in. And then the second wave kind of quietly channeling these higher frequencies like antennas. Now it's time to focus on the third wave, the kids being born right now.
What I find really interesting is how the lecture describes this third wave.
Okay.
They just have this inherent knowing.
Okay.
It's almost as if they just come preloaded with an understanding of these big concepts
Yeah.
that a lot of us really struggle to grasp even after years of study.
It's true. And do you think that's maybe maybe why so many of them just seem to get technology
Right.
so easily, and this whole idea of interconnectedness,
Yeah.
and even like spiritual stuff.
Yeah, the lecture says that their DNA is actually different.
Really?
More aligned with those higher frequencies.
Wow.
So evolution isn't always the slow, gradual process.
Right.
Sometimes it happens in these huge leaps forward.
It really makes you wonder, like, what kind of world are they going to create
Right.
with this wisdom that they're born with and this expanded consciousness? I mean, could they be the ones to build a more harmonious, peaceful reality?
Right.
You know, one that's more in line with that source of pure love that we talked about.
The lecture definitely paints this really hopeful and optimistic picture.
Yeah.
It suggests that these third wave children, they really are the embodiment of what we could be.
Yep.
The proof that a brighter future is possible if we're willing to just kind of go with the changes that are happening.
It's so inspiring.
Yeah.
You know, like even with all the craziness going on in the world,
Right.
it feels like there's this undercurrent of change. Like something really incredible is about to happen.
And it all comes back to that idea of Earth School as a training ground for our souls.
Right.
Maybe all these challenges that we're facing as individuals and as a whole are just getting us ready for this big shift,
Okay.
this ascension to a higher level of consciousness.
So we're not just watching all of this happen.
Exactly.
We're part of it.
We are co-creating the future with every choice we make,
Wow.
every thought we have, every action we take.
This whole concept of Earth School is really empowering.
It is.
When you think about it, it reminds us that we have a purpose.
Yes.
We have something to contribute. We have a responsibility to use what we're good at to make the world a better place.
It really does.
This deep dive has been mind-blowing.
It has.
From like the nature of God to this whole karma thing and these 3 waves of volunteers.
Absolutely.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
And if this conversation got you thinking,
Yeah.
if it made you wonder about your own place in all of this, then we did what we set out to do.
Absolutely.
If you want to keep exploring these ideas and you're ready for more insights into the quantum soul,
Okay.
make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Right.
Like this video.
Yes.
Share it with your friends.
Yeah, there are 2 new videos waiting for you on your screen.
Oh, cool.
Pick one and keep going on your journey.
All right. Until next time.